Broadcasting live from the WGBB World Headquarters here in New York. This is the Big Fat Joey Show with your host, Big Fat Joey.
Hey, Sin, Big Fat Joey, Big Fat Joey Show, biggest thing on radio. What's up?
Wow, another Sunday in the summer. I can't believe it. The weekends are flying.
Weekends are flying. We have a jam-packed show today, everyone, but we want to let you know what we did so far this week, and it was a crazy, crazy, fun weekend.
I'm totally busy. I can't even get over it.
Friday night, we were at the Clubhouse in East Hampton to see artist Dan Bailey, who's coming up on our show this upcoming Sunday. Who was there with him?
I got to meet a Chili Pepper.
Red Hot?
Yes. Chad Smith. What a drummer. Like, you don't get this anymore. It's amazing.
No,
Such talent.
Bands are unfortunately not as prolific as they used to be. It's just, pop stars now. But got to see Chad Smith from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Great guy, cool guy. My camera was on the blink. I had to take multiple shots because, I don't know, just was always out of focus. And it finally got one that was decently in focus. I don't know what's wrong with it. I just did an update. I think the camera's trying to get to me.
It was amazing. I had so much fun.
Also there was another great world-famous artist, Bakithi Kumalo, bassist for Paul Simon. He's also on the record with Dan Bailey, Alchemist, and that record just dropped on this past Friday. But great night out in East Hampton. And then Saturday, what did we do?
We saw Susanna Chow at her trunk show, which if everyone knows me, I love her bags. So we had a lot of fun and catching up and all her new styles. And it was packed at Love Shack Fancy. And that was in Southampton.
Right, Love Shack Fancy, hanging out there yesterday with Susanna Chow. Check her out online at Susanna Chow NYC on Instagram. You can check out all her great bags, which I think Sin has at least half of the collection so far.
Yes, the colors and they sparkle. They're beautiful. Now today we're super busy. You have a jam-packed day. Also, you have Kirsten Jordan.
Kirsten Jordan, Sin. Kirsten.
Oh, sorry. I knew I was going to butcher that a little bit.
That's all right. That's why she goes by, thinking that she goes by KJ on the show. Makes life a lot easier for people.
Absolutely. And that's from $1 Million Listing New York on Bravo Channel. So that's amazing. I love the show. So she's going to be a lot of fun.
A lot of fun in the interview today, 9 p.m. Bravo TV, Thursday nights. And then we have our pal, our favorite barista, Espen Ostendorf. He is a madman. He rode his bike from San Diego, California to Jacksonville, Florida, then Jacksonville, Florida to Southampton, New York. I think it took him a little over 3 months in all types of weather and scenarios, and he's going to tell us everything that transpired, from meeting some great people out there to unfortunately meeting not so many great people out there.
The training that he did.
The training he did, the dogs that try to make lunch out of him. It's a great interview. And, he's our favorite barista at, what is your favorite place, in?
My favorite place is San Ambrose, and we love Espen, so I'm excited.
Yeah, he's over out there in the Southampton location. All right, everyone, without any further ado, is our interview with $1 Million Listing New York's very own Kirsten Jordan. All right, everyone, on the line with us is the best thing to happen to $1 Million Listing New York, real estate broker, Kirsten Jordan. Kirsten, welcome to the Big Fat Joey Show. How are you?
Hi, great. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you for being on. Love the show. Big fan of it. Love everything that happens in New York City. We're big city people. Obviously, we're based out of New York City here, our station, and we love to see all the happenings and doings that are going on.
Hi, Kirsten. It's Sin. Nice to meet you. I'm so excited to have you on today.
Thank you so much. Nice to meet you, too.
Now, Kirsten, watching the series and, seeing everything that goes on, how did you get involved, one, with $1 Million Listing New York, but I'll back it up a step or two. How did you even get involved in real estate? Is that something you always wanted to do, or is that something you kind of fell into? How did you become a real estate broker?
I was always confused about what I was supposed to do in life, but I always thought I was going to make it big doing something. And I always thought that it was going to be something that had nothing to do with what I did in high school and college. everybody was always like, what's your major? What you doing? And I was like, listen, I'm doing school, but whatever I do, it's going to have nothing to do with school. And so I actually post-college lived in Chicago, realized it wasn't for me, moved to Italy. And while I was living in Italy, I was like, I want to speak Italian, but I fell in love with sales while I was living in Italy. So when I came back from Italy to New York City, I decided to get into sales of big ticket items. And so that's how I got into real estate. And, I've been doing it for 13 years. I have 3 kids. And at some point I thought I'm ready to take my career to the next level. That was the middle to the end of 2019 after I'd had my 3rd child. He was a couple years old. And I thought, what could I do to take my real estate career to the next level? And I got this text out of the blue that said, would you ever be interested in being on $1 Million in New York? And I thought, this is a sign. And I think this is what I was meant to do. That's the reason I've been hustling all these years as a broker, is because I was meant to be on TV.
So how was the film, everything with the filming, is it exactly what you thought it would be?
I'm an extremely naive and impulsive person. So I would say nothing was really as I expected, because I think I just never understood. I kind of was like, oh, I want to do this. This is what it's going to take to get my career to the next level. I'm having fun with this. Mm-hmm. And I jumped in. I have no regrets, but I would say learning how to put on makeup for camera was a really tough one. And then learning how to dress for the camera was also tough, because, what you wear in your day-to-day life isn't necessarily what looks good on camera. So that's something I had to learn a lot about. So it was a little bit of a steep learning curve in the beginning. But it's been really fun otherwise.
And how did you pivot during the pandemic and the house selling and buyers? How did that work?
Well, I was lucky because, I'd been in the business a long time. COVID didn't scare me at all, because I thought, you know what? No matter what happens, everything always comes back. It's never that bad for as long as you think it's going to be. Mm-hmm. So I just focused on staying in touch with all of my clients while I was in quarantine. Okay. And when I came out of it, I ended up having my best year ever was 2020. So what I had to adapt was I had to learn how to do business over the phone and do business over, over video.
Okay.
Yeah, right. I mean, with all of these Zoom calls, I always tell people, I go, listen, I'm the talent. I'm not the tech. I know how to use a regular phone, but the Zoom, the Zap, the Zip. So what Teams? What team am I on? What's going on here with all this stuff?
Oh, tell me about it. We just had to learn to be flexible. And, I was back in person June 22nd. Been getting COVID tested twice a week since the middle of July, and just been rolling with it.
Now, how's selling real estate in New York City specifically, and then how is it differ from selling maybe in the suburbs or maybe another large metropolis?
Well, what's special about selling real estate in Manhattan is that you have all of these, buildings there's a lot of co-ops, so that's a huge part of the market. It involves board approvals, board turndowns, board packages, making sure people are qualified to be in the building. Are they allowed to let their parents buy for them or not? That whole kind of thing. So that's a really unique part of the market. And then the other thing that's incredible about the New York City market, and I think there's probably only a couple other markets in the world like this, is that there's just this unlimited pool of really rich buyers that can spend a ton of money, and you don't really sometimes know where they're coming from, buying these really big, beautiful properties that are, the 20, 30, $40 million properties. And when they provide value and are beautiful and well done and have a reputable developer behind them, they sell for incredible numbers.
So what do you see as the biggest challenge in selling real estate in New York City?
The biggest challenge is probably being ready to be, and I think this is unfortunately very universal. I wish I could say it was super different, but it's being resilient. It's having the grit. It's being ready to show up and come up with a new way to handle rejection, because even if you've been doing this forever, there's still an element of rejection to this business if you want to do well. And that's always the hardest part. Even me, you know, I call up people and I have my great little introduction. You know, I'm the first female cast member, $1 million in New York. I've sold, you know, $500 million in real estate. I've, you know, been in it for 13 years. And there's still people who are like, nah, I don't want to talk to you. Hang up.
Okay.
Could you run us through a day of filming for $1 Million Listing New York? How does that work?
Well, I usually wake up super early. So I wake up at, 5:15. I meditate, I run, or I exercise, spend some time with my kids, and then I work on, you know, hair and makeup. So sometimes that means getting a blow dry at home. Then I do my makeup and I hustle to get out the door. I like go through 7 outfits that I send pictures of to my shopper, my stylist. And, you know, probably 2 other people, and then, you know, get out of the house, and like bring my backup makeup with me. And then usually, you know, we film on location. You know, this is all real, you know, we film on location. We go to, you know, if it's a seller, we go to the listing, you know, and there we are. We shoot, you know, and we, you know, we're there, we're going through the pitch, or we're going through the showings, or if it's an open house, same thing. And then, you know, when it's over, it's over. And then I go back to my other job, which is selling real estate.
Does the filming like slow you down for the day, or are you kind of used to it now? It's,
you know what, it's, you just get used to the fact that it's part of life. I mean, they're filming reality, and you just get used to the fact that this is reality.
Now, do the clients mind being filmed?
You know, I would say everybody rolls with it. If you're, you know, everybody knows that that's what we're going to be doing. And so everybody's ready, you know, to participate.
Well, I want to know, what's the craziest request by a seller or a buyer, be it on the show or not on the show?
So I recently had a transaction at the end of the year, the end of 2019, begin 2020, which was the actual buyer has a teddy bear that he brings with him everywhere. The guy's, you know, and probably in his, I want to say late 50s, maybe early 60s. And he has a teddy bear that he has dressed up. It has a very, very expensive diamond necklace that it wears.
Okay.
And he brings it around everywhere to weigh in on whether it likes the property, goes out to dinner with him. And that I sold the property to this gentleman who has a stuffed animal that weighs in on all his decisions. And I felt like that was really entertaining.
And was it like a big teddy bear, one that you would put in your bed, or something small that you could put in your bag?
You could bring it, and he had a bag for it. So like probably, you know, mid-size.
Wow. Okay. That's different. Hey,
Yeah.
whatever works.
Yeah,
Whatever
just
works.
to buy it. I mean, it was like an almost $7 million apartment, you know, and Charlotte had to weigh in. So there you go.
Okay. All right. So that means that the teddy bear must weigh in on the dates, the restaurants for the night, or restaurants for the day, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. It's a very good way. I think it was a very good lesson in deflection. It's like, you know, everybody's got whoever is making decisions. And, you know, if you want to be that blatant that you don't really want to be confrontational, you can just pull out a stuffed animal and say, listen, I'm sorry, but my stuffed animal is not okay with this. And so we're going to leave.
All right, whatever works. But I haven't heard that before, so that was a good one.
Yeah, I'd find it difficult for the bear to make dinner reservations because it's always stuffed.
That's
Don't.
true.
Exactly. Boom, boom, ching. I like that.
That's so funny.
Now, on the show, who do you see yourself directly competing with?
Well, you know, it really just depends, because remember, deal by deal is a competition. So I have I have a deal that I do with Ryan this season, which, you know, that there's a lot of great back and forth there. I have, I have something I'm doing with Tyler. We have a lot of competition because we're, you know, the relative newbies on the show. I think you'll see tonight with our episode this evening, we have we really go at it. And, you know, that's easy for us to compete just because of the fact that, you know, we're not the OGs, like, you know, with Ryan and Frederick. But I would say, you know, I've done deals with all of them, and you know, or in some form or overlapped with everybody. So I would say, you know, it depends on the deal I'm competing with.
Out of all the homes you've sold, what's been the most extravagant? Maybe not in value, but just like, you know, this is only a $2 million home, but they had some crazy finishes, or, you know, who knows? Basketball court. You know, something that, well, basketball court, I think is relatively tame, but yeah, something crazy. Well,
you know, what's really interesting is I actually recently had a property that was actually a rental that the tenant was paying $18,000 a month. And she came in and she did $400,000 worth of upgrades to the apartment.
On a rental.
$400,000. And on a rental, she had pictures of Marilyn Monroe. She had glitter wallpaper. She had, you know, it was all that like white, that like style where it was kind of like a Philippe Stark style, but more like white feathers and red lipstick and, you know, light iridescent glitter, you know, wallpaper, and, you know, that the fluffy, I would say, how do you say, like a fluffy rug that has like the feather down vibe. So everything just, you felt like you're walking into like Miami ish. It was crazy. She did all of these upgrades, and, you know, and then she had almost like St. Louis the 15th style, electric shades. And so they were like, I mean, this is major upgrades. But then when she left, she had to just take them with her. But, you know, they're custom. So what do you do? It was crazy.
Well, I love that you're bringing the girl power on the show this season. Were the guys so welcoming?
Well, I would say everybody had their own unique way of welcoming me. You know, Tyler gave me a total run for my money, and, you know, we have our drama, which I think is a blast and fun and funny. And, you know, there's some real, you know, we really gave each other a hard time. And I think that's par for the course here. I mean, this is reality TV. And then, you know, Ryan and I have known each other for a long time, and we have, you know, we're friendly. So that was, so we are friends, I would say. So that's, you know, we've been talking for a long time. Even when I was going through the process, I, you know, asked him his opinion all the time of what he thought I should, you know, what he thought of everything. So he's always been super supportive. And Frederick and I got to know each other a little better, and he gave me, you know, we have some tension as well. And, you know, and Steve and I are getting to know each other too. He's, you know, I did a deal with him a couple of years ago before all of this, and he's a great guy.
That's good to hear.
What's your favorite restaurant in New York City?
Oh my goodness. Well, you know, I actually have a neighborhood joint that I'm a huge fan of, which is called Gelato. It's on 93rd in Amsterdam. They have survived the pandemic. They make really great Italian food. You know, they just started taking reservations, and they just started taking credit cards, which, you know, is all a win to me. But that's my favorite, you know, as far as a local spot. Otherwise, you know, if I'm going fancy, I always eat Italian. I love St. Ambrose. I love the Felice brands. They do a great job. Love those guys. You know, I'm always rolling with my Italian food.
Well, I love St. Ambrose, because that you just said that. I'm like, I'm ready for the cappuccino in Southampton, because that's where I am all summer. It's so good.
The best.
Oh, it's so good. And their desserts are like heavenly. I love it.
Yeah, we love that St. Ambrose, and we go to the one in the Village a lot. So, but in the Hamptons, all our friends know if it's early morning or midday lunch, odds are if you're swinging by that way, you'll see us eating out in the outdoor eating over in St. Ambrose and Southampton.
So
and the coffee is just so smooth. It beats the other swill that's out there.
So good. So good.
What's your favorite place to shop in New York City? And there's so many places. I mean, can you name one that you love?
Oh, gosh. Well, listen, I feel like New York has lost a lot of their boutiques. I have been very loyal to Saks for a really long time. I like having everything in one place. Yes. I work with a personal shopper there who's incredible. And I have to say that's been, you know, it's like I'm like a Saks girl, and I'm a real girl. And that's like, you know, it's like goes from one place to the other, and it's just a circle.
So like on the weekends, are you in suits as well? Or is it mostly during the work week, like suits and more professional than like the weekend? Or do you look for the weekend like the same kind of look?
I am very rarely in anything that's very casual, actually. So even on the weekends, I usually wear a blazer with jeans because I don't know how to turn it off. I mean, that's how I got this far. That's how it is being in this business. You kind of have to always look like you're ready to jump out for a showing.
To look professional, absolutely.
Yep, that's why they pay me the big bucks.
Yes.
Really? How many do you have?
How many blazers?
I don't know how. You said they pay you the big bucks. So where do you fit all those deer in your apartment? You have a little grazing area on the balcony for them?
Exactly, with all their horns. Oh my God, yes. Like I fit them around the kids. In Italian, that's the symbol for betrayal is horns.
Yes.
You know that, right?
Yes.
It's the facciamo le corna, which is like if you or whatever, ti ha fatto le corna, which is like they gave you the horns, which means you were betrayed.
I've heard that before.
Yeah,
too.
the Malocchia. Giving people the horns. But you know what? In New York City, there are plenty of people, especially on the subway, that try to give you the horn.
And the taxi drivers.
And the taxi drivers. You don't know. Yeah,
what end it's coming from.
I love when we go into the city and we get in the cab and they think we're, they are right, but they think we don't know what we're doing. And I've had so many issues with cab drivers saying, well, I'm trying to go from A to B. Why are you going? Oh, listen, guy, you know what? I'm paying. You're getting $15. That's all you're getting because that's what this cab ride's worth. You've already jacked it to $25 because we've passed Macy's 3 times now. You don't think I know what we're doing? Just, and it's just, I got a kick because, we come in with our son and this and that, and they just think, oh, these are people from Long Island. They don't know what's going on. And I've had cabbies say, oh, I'm going to call the police, pull over. There's like 5 of them standing right there. Go ahead, pull over. I have no problem. Let's, do the right thing. And they're like, just give me the money. Get out of my cab. All right, thanks. Appreciate it. Stop doing that to people. Now, that's
right. Welcome to New York.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yep. Now, what's one of your favorite activities? What do you like to do?
Like favorite activity?
On the weekend.
On the weekend. New York City, you got the whole city to yourself.
The whole city myself, nothing to do. Well, I mean, I've got 3 kids. They're 7, 5, and 3. I have a great husband. Honestly, most of the time when we actually can get out, it's like, I love just getting out with my husband and actually going out and, getting a great dinner and just hanging out. Otherwise, I would say like hobbies, I haven't really had a really great chance to focus on anything like that in a really long time because I have, I've got the kids, I got the job, I'm going to be totally honest, it's boring. I listen to like motivational literature on my phone, like self-help books, and I meditate and I just try to keep it positive, and that's kind of what. At some point, I'll get a hobby. We're about to join a yacht club, and I'm going to learn how to sail. So I'm gonna work on that. So next time we talk, I'll have a hobby.
Now, I would love to find out some juicy info on probably one of the longest game shows on the air, Family Feud. Survey says. How was that? The whole cast was on Family Feud, right?
Oh my God.
Steve Harvey,
I've never laughed so hard. Yeah, I've never laughed so hard in my life. It was the most fun thing we've ever done. Tracy was so excited about it. She's been like a Family Feud fan forever. I have video of her screaming at the other cast members on her side because they weren't cooperating with her. I have great footage I'll be releasing in June when this thing comes out because we laughed so hard. It was such good competition, such good fun. I keep saying that there needs to be more overlap. There needs to be like a Survivor LA, New York thing, or like there needs to be more overlap. There's so much potential there. And they're so fun and funny, and they are always like having fun with each other. It's like we're like all so busy in New York that we're not even having that much fun together all the time like they are.
But you know what we're gonna do now?
Everyone's favorite radio game. Kirsten, we're going to be playing This or That, Family Feud style. Survey says. Are you ready?
So
sure. I hope I know how to do it. I hope I know what to do, but I'll do the best I can.
Oh, it'll be so easy.
Sin's going to give you two things. Survey says pizza or hot dogs, and you'll just decide which one you want.
It's easy.
You ready?
It's not, no stress, no stress.
I am. Born ready.
Okay, Kirsten, Family Feud style, here we go. The survey says, fabulous or are you glamorous?
Oh, fabulous.
Survey says, open house or private showing?
Private showing.
FSBO or real estate agent?
Real estate agent.
100%, right? 100%.
100%. 100%.
New construction or a flip?
Oh, a flip.
Sex in the City or are you a gossip girl?
Sex in the City.
This one's hard because I love both of them. Tiffany's or Harry Winston?
Ooh, Harry Winston.
And are you, lastly, a uptown girl or a New York state of mind?
Oh, uptown.
Yes. Thank you. That wasn't stressful. It's fun.
No, that was great. Those are all made me think too. Who am I? All of these different pieces.
We get to know you in a little bit of a fun, it's a fun way.
Top 10 answers are on the board. Here's your question.
She won. Wait, we need the bing, bing, bing.
Bing, 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 bing. Yeah, I love Family Feud. Back in the day, Richard Dawson, the original. But I think definitely Steve Harvey has carried it on to the next level. And I love him as the host. He is funny. Just his facial expressions, especially when people, I love the questions, how can your spouse be better? And the spouse, the person will say something crazy like that, and you see the spouse looking at him with the side eye, like, really? You just said that on national television?
Oh, he's good. He's really good. He even complimented us when it was over. He was like, "You guys were good. I wasn't expecting you guys to be so funny." And I was like, "Yep, that's what you got." That's what you got.
But I would love to see a crossover, just like they just did with the Housewives, like with that excursion that they all just went on, and they were all from all different shows. It would be nice to mash you guys all together on maybe a special.
Oh, I totally agree with you. I think we need to definitely lobby big time. It's time.
Now, what's a bit of advice you can give aspiring real estate agents?
Well, I think from what I have done that the most important thing you can do is get yourself a mentor that you don't expect too much from, but a mentor that is doing real deals and will let you participate. I think a lot of people run around thinking that they're going to get this fuzzy teddy bear mentor who's going to be giving them every single piece of advice and carry them through every deal and be super warm and nurturing. And the truth is the people that are busy doing this business don't have the time for that. But if you provide real value to them and you get yourself in there and you're ready to learn and you're asking how you can help before they're even asking you to jump, you will do really well at this business. That's how I got into the business. That's my attitude I've always had. And that's what makes a good real estate agent. So you might as well start that way. So
now, Kirsten Jordan, Douglas Elliman real estate broker and best thing to happen to $1 million list in New York. How can my audience find, follow, and keep up with all that you're doing?
Well, the first place is always Instagram. It's Kirsten.Jordan. If you look me up or you want to look up $1 Million List in New York, you'll find me there and you can follow me there. I also have a website, which is KirstenJordan.com, where I have a blog. I have a ton of video content, and you can do a deep dive on what I'm up to and all my advice. And then, of course, if you want to really brush up on everything that's going on, go to BravoTV.com and you can follow the show.
Well, I'm excited for tonight.
We definitely are. Well, Kirsten.
Me too.
Thank you for being on the Big Fat Joey Show. I wish you nothing but luck and success and no contingencies on any of your real estate deals.
I love that. That's the best thing you could say. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being on.
Take care.
Wow, saying Kirsten, super cool, super fun, and she loved this or that. Everyone's favorite video game.
Great interview, and I'm looking forward to this Thursday for the new episode.
It's always fun, New York, you just see these buildings and people just have, I'll call it stupid money, 20, 30 million. And this is like their third or fourth home, not even their first home. Forget that.
Yes, absolutely. Well, that was fun. Now, who do we have now?
Up next is our favorite cycling barista, Espen Ostendorf. All right, everyone, here we go. All right, everyone, let's welcome to the line barista extraordinaire, cycler, and all-around great guy, Espen Ostendorf. Espen, welcome to the Big Fat Joey Show. How are you?
Hey, Joey. What's up, man? Nice to finally hear from you. And I'm excited. Nice for you to call me in.
Hi, Espen. I'm
great.
so
Never
excited.
Been on a show.
I'm excited.
Hey, how's everything?
It's Sid. How
me
are
too,
you?
Me too. Very good. Very good. A little sunburnt, but very good.
Well, you know what? I'm super excited to have you on. I know last year, before the pandemic hit, I know you were training and practicing for this crazy trip of yours where you were, and you've actually done it, right across country from, I believe, San Diego, California to St. Augustine, Florida?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. The Southern Tier route. Now,
before we get into it, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, how you got involved in cycling and your desire and want to do this cross-country trip, especially in this day of COVID.
Yeah, no, as you know, I'm a bartender barista in the Hamptons at the Italian eatery San Ambrose. And, throughout all the coronavirus, just been working, almost every day. That's essentially all you can do out there.
Right.
And being able to, take advantage of that when other people, are in quite some financial difficulties, we had a job and that was good, but, it was a lot of work, and I just kept on and, always had this back thought of wanting to do a crazy trip like that to get out of my comfort zone, and I wasn't going to go back to school. I'm going to do my master's in October, and I wasn't going to do it until coronavirus, had rescinded a little bit to be able to avoid, webcam studying.
Right.
So I took the opportunity, no responsibilities right now, and just cycle across America,
Now, you took the southern route, and obviously here in New York, it's all right. The weather's it's mid-spring at this point. It's not the warmest of weather. It's okay. Still need a little light jacket,
right.
But you're going from Southern California. So how was it riding across country in all sorts of weather? Rain, sleet, dark of night. You're like a mailman.
Yeah, that's actually the funniest part. That's all we saw was mailmen, because when you're out there, those are also the people that have to go to those remote places,
Mm-hmm.
But New York, when I was biking in New York and training for this, I always had great conditions. That's the thing, you ride along Dunes Beach and it's amazing and you don't have a lot of gear on you. And it's just you and your bicycle and you stop, for your coffee break and you bike back and it's an easy trip, So I enjoyed training in New York. I trained 1 day a week and then I put it up to 2 days. And then sometimes I was able to wake up a little earlier and get in a good 40 miles before work. And, in the end, when you approach a bicycle tour this long, there's not that much you prepare for, especially when planning routes and you have a general idea what route you're taking, but nightly stays and breaks, other things that you plan that last minute. You try to plan that within a week of distance, and also training, your first 12 days of riding the bicycle on your trip, that's your boot camp, 12 days in a row, about 60 miles a day. That's how I started, I was sore and I had to roll out my muscles at night. But that's the boot camp. That's how you get yourself fit and you condition your muscles to work that way. It was mainly just, getting out of the comfort zone.
And you know what? I know exactly what you're talking about. When I'm getting ready to eat, I start off with a couple of junior hamburgers, from McDonald's, and then I work my way up to 4, 5, 6 Big Macs. I just don't jump right into the Big Mac right off the bat.
Yeah. I do that now too. The amount of food you eat on a bicycle tour is crazy. About 6,000. We calculated it. It's about 6,000 calories a day. because you need a very large breakfast to support yourself through a tough morning.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have a second breakfast, which is normally 1,000 calories. Then you're already around 3,000 calories. And then you have lunch, which is 1,500 calories, not too heavy. And when you start your afternoon riding, you know, you should still be continuously, you know, getting nutrients into you, because if not, you start getting lightheaded, a little dizzy, or even negative, you know, because you're not getting enough nutrients, fiber, all these vitamins that you need. You know, if you're bicycling for 12 hours in a single day, your diet should look like that. It should be about 6,000. So yes, I've stopped at a McDonald's and down 3 Big Macs with barbecue sauce.
Nice.
You know, some chicken nuggets. Has to be. But yeah, you eat anything. Bananas, apples, nuts are very healthy, and they don't sit in your stomach. You know, a double shot of espresso, if you can find it, I won't say no.
Right.
Even in the evening, you know. And I mean, some of the younger guys, they ride with Red Bull. Some other guys, they just have electrolyte water, which is healthy because Gatorade has about 50 grams of sugar. You know, that's something I had to cut down on.
Right.
But everybody can kind of pick their favorite food, you know, and whatever it is, as long as it's carbs and, you know, something with fat content, it's going to give you pure energy.
How did you, on the nutrition side, how did you figure out what you need? Did you reach out to anyone, a nutritionist or a doctor, or is everything you kind of learned on your own or speaking to other riders?
Right. So that, I think that's where really, you know, YouTube kind of helped me out, because, you know, I kind of just found some guys that did the same tour or did tours, and they talked about their nutrition, and they brought up, you know, the things that I, you know, so dearly attain to now, you know, like as soon as you feel a little lightheaded, stop and get nutrients in, because if you wait another 15 minutes, you'll exponentially get worse. Like those little tricks I learned on YouTube, you know, and also I did consult with 2 or 3 guys that did this tour. And they just told me, you know, you're just essentially going to be stopping at gas stations, and the best you can get is fruit. You know, granola bars aren't bad.
Right.
But try to get an actual meal in the morning and at lunch. You know, those two, if you can, you know, it's obviously money, but supermarkets aren't that, you know, expensive. And so I'll drop into a supermarket and, you know, get a whole rotisserie chicken and work on that. You know?
Right.
I don't feel shame in that. You know, that's probably one of the better things, that you can really go into a grocery store and, you know, buy canned beans. You can buy anything for the trip, and it's pretty, you know, cheap. But obviously, if I see a good taco stand, I'll stop there and I'll get 3-4 tacos. As long as you get, you know, protein like chicken in you, vegetables, and fruit. No red meat. If you have red meat in your stomach or too much fiber, those things will tear you down. Those things will make you slower, and your body is not able to digest those as good as chicken, you know?
Okay, so you got to stay away from the red meat.
Steak. Exactly. Like a fat steak, or like try to reduce your burgers, you know, have a burger, but the best is fish and chicken.
Okay.
Those two are high protein and pretty lean. And, you know, red meat is just not something you want on a bike trip in your system.
Now, speaking of food, since you traveled, you know, the lower 48, but on the southern end, where did you get, what was your favorite meal, and where did you get it?
It has to be the birria beef stock tacos in San Diego. I went there 3 days in a row, and I had 4 tacos on each day. It's just a very well-made taco from beef stock, and yeah, it's just meat, you know. And that's actually around the time I learned about the whole red meat thing. So I thought that was my last guilty pleasure, you know. And yeah, that was probably the best. Those tacos in San Diego are damn good. They are. And otherwise, you know, Texas has amazing barbecue. I went to the famous Terry Black's. You know, got those St. Louis style ribs.
Oh, that sounds so good. I can go for that right now.
Yeah. Those were probably, you know, I tried to send one of those sauces back to my house, and it didn't work. The post office wouldn't do it. So
okay,
there's another excuse to do this tour again. I can't, you know, that's the thing. When you're traveling, you can't take stuff with you because you try to minimize your weight.
Right.
You know, all in all, right now, my bicycle weighs about 90 pounds with all the bags and stuff.
Wow.
And then I weigh about 220, you know, so when you're climbing 5,000 feet in a single day, you'll feel it. You know, you will feel every single pound that's on, you know, your moving vehicle, you know. So I've sent back home so much stuff, you know, like instead of having 3 shirts, you only have 2. You know, instead of 2 long pants, you only have 1, you know. And you send back so much stuff that now I'm, you know, I probably cut around 30 pounds for my gear. You know, just little things that I don't need. I don't need 2 lamps, you know, I need 1 lamp. You live minimalistic because you're forced to. And I think that's a great life lesson as well. You know, it makes you appreciate things more. And like, also I have a complete inventory in my head where everything is at any given time, which is funny, you know.
Espen, how many miles did you ride a day?
I started with 60. Obviously, you can follow me on Strava as well. I'll give you the link later. But I started around 60 miles a day. And by the time I got to Texas, I was doing about 70 a day.
Wow.
And I was taking about 1 rest day a week. But once I got to Texas, and this was about close to Marfa, mid-Texas, the Marfa Lights, they're pretty famous. And I met a couple of guys that were doing the same tour.
Right.
And we had all kind of met randomly, you know, but we had the same destination. So we decided to just roll together for a while and see, you know, obviously anybody can break off at any time. But, you know, being together in that group, suddenly we were doing 80 to 90 to 140 miles.
Wow.
Like that's right now, at one point I was doing 140 miles a day. And thank God I recorded those things on my Strava app.
That's wow.
You know, because I think that's the motivator for me to, you know, keep that form. Because when you ride for, that amount of time, you know, that's something that you put under your belt. You know, that's something you've earned and something to be happy about.
Oh,
absolutely. It's a satisfaction.
Absolutely.
You know, and your hands are blistered after a long day like that. You know, your whole skin is full of sand. And, your face is, you know, completely red and your back hurts. Either way, if you had a good position or not, you know, you're still going to have pain because you sat in that position for that long of time. But I've not felt that good in a long time, you know, and that's just the truth. You sit there at the end of the day and you know, you just look up to the stars because you're camping, you know.
Right.
Yeah, you feel a lot of appreciation for that. That night, actually, I stepped at a picnic area because I had gotten to the last town. And the next town was another 100 miles away, and I didn't want to do 200 miles. So I just slept in the middle of the highway at a picnic area.
Okay.
And got up the next morning and just, kept riding. You know, you get in situations like that where you are forced, you know, to sleep in the desert or in rain or, you know, behind a supermarket. You know, after COVID, really restricted options for camping as many places and hospitality groups closed.
Right.
You know, hotels are more booked up and campgrounds have closed because they don't make enough money. Not enough people are traveling. You know, it is not advised, for example, to take larger groups through, you know, in a camper or in some type of RV. People aren't encouraging that. And that's why revenue for it went down. So it's way harder to sleep at night and find places because, you know, COVID just, really restricted that. But it's not hard to meet people because people are still out and about, you know, ready to talk to you, to help you. I've had guys literally pull over to the side of the road and stop me and ask me, where are you going? I'm going to give you some tips. Go this way. You need some water. Let me fill up your water. You know, it's people that you inspire them without knowing. Mm. And you ask yourself, why are these people being so nice to me right now? You know?
Well, that's definitely good to hear that there are still good people out there.
How did your day start?
Yeah.
Like in the morning, what time did you get up and what time did you say, like, that's it for the day?
So the unspoken rule is 6:30 to 7.
Okay.
You have to be up. You know, obviously the first thing you do in your tent is you throw all your clothes together. You get your biking clothes out and you pack everything else in your bag. Then you gather all your other items. If it's food or, you know, lamps or whatever you have on you, you put it in the other bag. you roll together your sleeping bag, your sleeping bag, and take down your tent. And hopefully by 8 o'clock latest, you've had your first breakfast and are ready to roll at least 30 miles, you know?
Okay.
Have water ready, obviously. And that's how my day starts. You know, it's always, I don't have a coffee machine. So when we're camping remotely, I kind of try my luck at getting coffee from the other guys. Or normally when there's other people at the campground, you know, I'll go over and just politely ask, I guess. That's still something, you know, that I like to do, is just like go up and talk to people at campgrounds right now, because everybody wants to talk. I feel like everybody's been deprived of that for quite some time now. You know, people, the conversations I get into with people, it's crazy. You know, these people want to talk and they want to converse. And, but yeah, so normally my day definitely always includes at least one very long conversation with a local or a fellow traveler. And I like those.
Now, meeting all the people, you said everyone was very generous to you. You have any crazy stories? You know, something, you know, either with people or, you know, you're going through Texas and there's a couple of bulls running at you, scorpions in the desert. What are some crazy stories that you came across? Or, you know, girls throwing their underwear at you, inviting you guys into their tent. You know, they're willing to ride your bicycle for a while.
Yet, but I did meet a group of girls that had a flat on a highway in Arizona, and they asked me if I could change it for them. And I had not learned how to change a car tire yet.
Oh, no.
So I went on YouTube, and then we changed it together. So that was funny. But no, otherwise, it's like, you know, Arizona, probably I met a lot of people that let me sleep on their barn, you know, or their property, because the properties are very big there. And then, you know, they come out and they give you some food or something like that. They just want to hear your story, you know?
Right.
But, I mean, there's also a day I was chased by stray dogs for a little too long,
Okay.
you know, because stray dogs is very common. That happens often to cyclists. You just kind of scream, or you have a bear, you have one of those scare bear little trumpets, so you just press it, and the compression of the H2O makes a very loud sound,
right,
like a skrill. So you skrill them. But that one day I was alone in the desert, and those dogs really didn't have anything else to do, so they just kept running after me and like trying to catch my back bags, you know, and kind of tear on my back bags. And every time I got off, they tried to bite me. So this guy that pulled up, started honking his horn and kind of almost trying to drive over them, just trying to scare them, obviously.
Right.
But, he put my bike in his truck and drove me to his ranch and let me sleep there. And then towards about 11:30 at night, he started showing me all his guns, obviously, you know.
Right.
And I got to see the entire collection, you know, and obviously I'm nice, you know, I'll be polite. Also, especially when it's somebody else's house, you know, they just want to, you know, share.
Right, yeah.
Their stories as well, you know. You reflect off of them, so when they hear your crazy stories, you know, they start sharing their stories, and it's crazy what some of these people have done. You know, I mean, there's one guy, he's been parachuting for the military for 40 years, and his back is messed up. They told him he can't bike anymore, and now he's doing 100 miles right next to me. You know,
wow.
He caught up to me. You know, yeah, it's very interesting what these people go through. And also reminds you that every time you take a walk or anywhere, you know, the people that are walking right by you have crazy stories too, you know? I think you forget that sometimes when you're in your daily life. You forget that people around you have crazy stories like you know?
Right.
You're not the only person.
Right. Everyone's got a story to tell. Everyone's going through something. Everyone's seen the good, the bad, and the ugly of other people. Yeah, we get caught up in our everyday lives, working, coming home, paying bills, doing this, doing that, getting back up, going to work, and you don't realize, except for the people that you speak with on a daily basis, the strangers and other people that you just haphazardly run into, they have extraordinary tales to tell as well.
Exactly. Yeah. Joey, you said it, man. And I think that's my biggest gift on this trip, is that I've been able to, you know, hear and understand more people and be more open. You know, I think I had fallen too much in my ways when you work 6 days a week, you know, as a bartender or a barista, and you kind of lose track of these real life interactions and even your interest of going out of your way to meet people, you know?
Right.
But
Now,
also, meeting these guys that
no, go ahead. Meeting these guys.
yeah, because half the trip I did by myself. So from San Diego until middle of Texas, it was just me.
Wow.
It's quite the mental challenge, but that was my goal. I was really trying to get at, how far can I challenge myself mentally and how far can I go if I set my mind to it. And I never doubted myself that I wouldn't, I knew I was going to complete it, whether I'm limping with one wheel, in my right hand, if I make it back in one piece, I was going to complete it. And that determination got me until, mid-Texas. And then I was very fortunate to meet these guys that also just kind of did it like that,
Mm-hmm.
And my reasoning for doing this trip was, to discover this kindness from Southern locals and to get out of my comfort zone. But it turns out like the people that I met that are also doing this trip kind of just did it to, get away from their life and to be able to have that in common, like half these people, I wouldn't be friends with them in normal life. Right. Whether one guy is, a married man with 4 kids and in his 50s or the other kid's this 20-year-old student, I don't think I would have been, going out of my way to meet any of these people in normal life. And now we're brothers. We share the same toothpaste if we don't have enough. And we'll sleep together in a tent when the other guy's tent breaks, and you don't doubt each other. And it's been an honor. That's a feeling, that's very cherished, is that we became like brothers, and we all have these same tie-dye shirts on as well. So when I was back in Florida, I had really tried to find a good shirt to wear, and this company called the Sunshine Sisters was started by 2 young daughters who are 9 and 11, and the mom, Jordan, she runs the business. But anyway, these shirts, they're just tie-dye shirts that have a big B kind written on it. And I just love the message. I just thought that message was exactly something that I can, relate to. And I think that if I'm wearing a big blonde guy with a tie-dye shirt crossing America, I feel people would gravitate towards that, And before you know it, all of these 8 friends of mine have these shirts on as well, So it's a really nice thing to see, and I've ordered more shirts, more tie-dye shirts because 2 guys lost them.
Okay.
Which happens, and
Espen.
Yeah.
Are you ready to play everyone's favorite radio game, This or That with Sin?
Yes, please.
Let's play,
Absolutely.
Espen. Let's do it.
All
Espen, is it sunrise or sunset?
Sunset. Absolutely.
Is it cake by the ocean or peanut butter jelly time?
Oh, peanut butter jelly time, anytime.
Long
That's not even a this or that. That's just, yeah.
Long Island or Florida?
Long Island. Any day. Any day.
Espresso or cappuccino?
Oh, espresso. I gotta go with espresso.
Is it large or extra large?
Extra large. Extra
Always.
large any day.
Always. And bike ride in the rain or bike ride in 90-degree weather?
Oh, bike ride in the rain. Please. Please. I can't do it anymore. The heat.
And lastly, if you were a porn star, would it be called Barista Bandit or Cycling Slider?
Cycling Slider.
All right, Espen. Thank you for playing. It's fun, right?
No problem. That's funny. Yeah, I like the sun. The heat question, the rain or 90-degree heat. I'll take blistering rain any day.
Yeah, that's either one is really hard,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Right.
Now,
Oh yeah. I mean, but I'll take that one any day.
now I understand you're concluding your trip because you're coming back up here in New York. So you're going to be riding from St. Augustine, Florida, to Southampton, New York.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm extending the trip Since I'm such a masochist, I want to torture myself more, and I'm gonna do another 1,500 miles. But I've dumped half of my gear, so I'm gonna be going at about 23 miles an hour on average. So I'll probably be up there in about 2.5 weeks.
Wow.
If I do about 130 miles a day. You know, I'm at that point of my conditioning where, you know, my physical strength and endurance is just at that point where I'm not satisfied with 90 miles. And I want to keep pushing it. So I'm making this a challenge, you know, let's see how fast I can get up to New York. Because I really would like to roll up to my mother's place on my birthday on the 11th of May and finish my trip on that day. And then, watch a good movie and maybe have a beer. That's another thing you don't do when you cycle. You don't drink much because your stomach has to be settled in the morning to be able to eat food and properly digest it. So you can't really get drunk, you know?
Yeah, now the beer's gonna hold you back.
Me and my mom. Right. I was gonna make a nice margarita or a Bloody Mary or something good, you know?
Now, what did your mom think about all this when you told her?
Oh, she used to do this stuff when she was 25, you know? She was crazy for this kind of stuff. She was always a person that would go out and bike from Scotland to Belgium, or she used to go moon surfing at night, you know? So she's a pro, athlete, and she used to also do varsity volleyball, you know? So she'll ride like 40 miles right now, any day on a bicycle.
Now, what piece of advice could you give my listeners out there who are looking to do something extreme like this, you know, a ride across country or ride to another state? Right. What can you give someone who's doing something out of the norm?
I would tell them to do it because that's something that nobody can take away from you. No matter who has achieved what and what circumstances, if you do something, you know, like that, you can call yourself great. And my advice is to just go for it and be spontaneous, because you can plan as much as you want, you know, but you got to be there in the end to experience it. And just to get there first and to make yourself do the first day is the biggest challenge, in my opinion. So
one more time, your sponsor, the Sunshine Sisters, how can we find them online?
So the Sunshine Sisters have an Instagram account, and it's kind of called Sunshine Sisters. And you can, find that. It's the Palm Beach location. It's also shop sunshinesisters.com. And you can go through their collection and see they have all kinds of stuff from masks to little shirts and to caps to pants. And it's definitely something I got to order again too, because mine is pretty worn out at this point, you know, when you're riding with it every day. But yeah, definitely check it out. And if you want to follow my my Strava, which is the app I use to track my progress, you are always welcome to do that as well. My name is on the app. My name is Espen O. And yeah.
And then what about Instagram? How can my audience follow, and keep up with you on Instagram?
So my Instagram account is Espen_O, and I just essentially post, you know, routes and my daily progression, how far I go, and I kind of just post some nice pictures as well of the trip. You know, in the end, I do want to make a little book about this, you know, and I've been keeping a journal, and I want to kind of put some stuff together and answer some questions myself that I had, why I really went on this trip, you know. And every day passes, and I more and more notice why I went on this trip, you know. It's to experience this kind of emotion when you put yourself in a tough position and you get yourself out, you know. There's no easy way to cross America. There's just straightforward, you know. There's no shortcut you can take, you know.
No,
you still have to bike about 4,700 miles.
Right. No.
And you know, if you take a right there to avoid a hill, you're gonna encounter it later down on the road, you know. So I think that was my biggest interest, is to get out and to put myself in a tough situation, to get myself out by myself, you know. And I've accomplished that. I'm very happy. And I'm just excited to keep this trip going for at least another 2.5 weeks and to get to New York.
And that's perseverance. And we're excited for you to come back. We love San Ambrose. We love their coffee, their food, they're Danish, right, Sin?
And all the workers, they're all
everyone
so
in the Southampton
sweet.
location, everyone is super sweet, and you guys are always busy over there.
Oh, yeah. It's a good restaurant with good food. What do you expect? You know, like people come from all over the Hamptons for our food. They will blackmail us for a certain cake, you know, if they got it.
Right.
You know, that's how serious the San Ambrose business is, you know.
Well,
but no, I'm just proud to go back and, you know, to make the best coffee in the Hamptons.
You do, absolutely.
Yeah.
My favorite.
Yeah.
All right, then. Well, Espen Ostendorf, barista extraordinaire and super cyclist.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for being on the Big Fat Joey Show. It's been a pleasure. I wish you nothing but luck and success and safety on your return trip home, and we'll see you out in the Hamptons.
Oh, thanks, Joe. That's very kind of you to call me in, and I appreciate you too as well. And you're always so supportive when you come by the bar, by the way. You're always in a great mood, even if you have to wait 5 minutes for your cappuccino. You guys are always very sweet. So
Thank you.
I appreciate that. I'll get you guys 2 shirts as well.
Thank you. Sin, I'm just winded listening to the thousands of miles that he trekked across the country and up the East Coast.
I have no idea how he did it. Not even having a hairdryer, I couldn't do it.
Listen, I fight the bike getting it out of the shed. By the time I get it out, I'm half winded. I'm like, forget this. I got enough exercise just trying to drag it out.
Very impressive.
Very, very impressive. So everyone, you know what? Everyone needs to do something like that in their life. Take the bull by the horn, something you've always wanted to do on your bucket list. And I was talking to Espen the other day. He drove from Mauritius to Montauk and back to the Hamptons. I think that's like 125 miles round trip or whatever. He just did that just for out of a lark. Like I said, you know, I have all to do to wrestle the bike out of the shed.
True that.
Well, everyone, once again, tick tock, tick tock. The little clock on the wall is telling us we gotta go. All right, everyone, this is Big Fat Joey. Big Fat Joey Show. Biggest thing on radio. Reminding everyone to make every sandwich count. Peace.